Hey, how you doing, guys? For this week's topic, it's going to be actually two topics in one, along with an announcement, and we're going to have a guest on here. I was hoping to do it this week, but it looks like I'm going to have to move it toward next week, which is Bruce Naylor. Known him for a long time. We've been on each other's shows, YouTube channels, and live broadcasts. I haven't talked with him in a long time. He's doing a lot of new interesting stuff. You can also check him out on his YouTube channel, which is Bruce Naylor, and actually put out a video today, and which I responded to. So that should be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Now this one's kind of, I'm talking about a previous video that I did that seems to be fairly popular, which was a new Davinci Resolve on Linux. Now I looked more into it, the installation procedure. Now currently, this new Davinci Resolve is only supported technically on Red Hat and CentOS, which is their free version. Now it uses a script file, which means it can be perhaps installed on different flavors of Linux other than Red Hat version, which people have done, and in some cases it simply wouldn't install at all. Now, if you can install it on a different one and it seems to work, keep in mind that perhaps even if you update it at a later time, that could break it and stop it from working. It could be supporting libraries for that application or other reasons. So if you do get paid or self-employed and use Davinci Resolve on a Linux platform, keep in mind you might want to use their supported version, which is Red Hat and or CentOS, or even use it on a test machine first, because professional users tend to want to have a stable platform, and that currently is the supported stable platform that it is guaranteed to work on. Another interesting news that's coming out is Canon's coming out with a new high dynamic CMOS sensor that has global shutter. So I want to talk a little bit about what rolling shutter and global shutter is, just for in case people don't know. Now, most CMOS sensors now, I think the bulk of them are rolling shutter. Now, what that means is how the sensor is scanned for each frame, and it kind of goes back to even some of the older CRT televisions. They're actually scanned from the top and all through all the different line pixels all the way to the bottom. Now, in some cases, if you're moving the camera or something's moving past the camera at a high rate of speed, that could cause what's calling the jelly roll effect, and it looked like the picture actually warbles, and which can be a problem if you're doing high production value video. Now, they have something that's called global shutter, which each frame, all the pixels are taken simultaneously, instead of scanned individually in the entire picture, which virtually eliminates this rolling shutter and or jelly roll effect, which is great news in many cases. Now, I think there's a lot of people hoping this global shutter will eventually go into their line of DSLRs. I'm kind of doubting it, but we'll see. Because usually with their I can't say that word, DSLRs, is they tend to focus on photography first and then video second, with the exception of their one DSLR cinema version, which is, I believe, the DC1 or the 1DC, something like that. And perhaps they may put a global shutter in that. In the most part, if it's a regular photography camera, most pictures are taken stationary, with a few exceptions, perhaps high action sports, and then you may have to take in multiple, I guess it's multiple shutter mode, where you actually can take, I think, up to 10 or more pictures per second, and that way you can get it in fast action type of sports. Could be NASCAR, could be football or whatever. Then perhaps that might make sense, having a global shutter perhaps. But Canon has a long history of keeping certain features out of their lower end cameras. It entices them to buy their higher, a higher line of camera or what have you. And they're afraid of cannibalizing their higher, priced cameras. So yeah, I could see the reason why they may do that, but it's still some exciting news. And occasionally you do see it, go on to other things. For instance, like when they first putting the autofocus on their, I believe it was their 70D or 60, or maybe it was the 80D, I can't remember. And eventually it went to their cinema lines, the C300, C500, and then the C100. So yeah, we'll see. Until then, hope to see you more on my channel. And don't forget, I appreciate it if you like my videos, please follow me. Thumbs up if possible if you like them, and see you later.